can this man do a job at Liverpool Football Club at the age at which he is now? Absolutely. I think he can do everything in a defensive sense that Liverpool are looking for. Hello everyone, welcome to the Red Men TV. It is your emergency deep dive. I'm Chris Pajak and we're all here to talk Wataru Endo at the moment, aren't we? I can't profess to tell you anything about him that I knew before yesterday. I have been scrambling around the internet, all the data scraping sites to try and find out as much as humanly possible in a shorter space of time so that I'm able to show you what I believe is a very, very, very strong look Endo himself. So first and foremost, I think I started out this video and I absolutely didn't want to just trample over the stats that I've seen on Twitter, that you've seen on Twitter. So I've put a lot of work in this morning to try and get you some stuff that you won't have seen anywhere else. That being said, I'm going to go through some of the things that you might have seen or you might have found out yourself. So the basic stuff, let's get that out of the way first and foremost. He's 30 years old. He's 5'10". He's a defensive midfielder who has played right back. He's played the centre half as well. But crucially, I think everyone's getting hung up on this 30-year-old thing. And for me, that's not as big of an issue as maybe it is for some others. Maybe it's because I'm 40 years old. Maybe it's because I don't see players as dead when they hit the age of 28. And maybe it's because I actually don't mind Liverpool signing the occasional player over 28 years old. And, you know, an experienced player who's 30 who actually hasn't had that many minutes in his leg, I think could be a sneaky good addition to Liverpool Football Club. Now, one thing I will caveat all of that with, if he is the only signing between now and the end of the transfer window, then it will be a disappointing transfer window, and I think that's fair to say. But I do think there is a role in the squad for him. And so I'm going to go through some of that now. First of all, he's a captain as well. He's captain Stuttgart and he's captain Japan. I think everybody will know that. I've taken this from FB Ref and I've compared Fabinho in green with Wataru Endo in red. And these are just the basic stats that anybody can view on FB Ref, created into a wonderful viz by the people at fbcharts.com. And you can see here that Endo compares really favourably across quite a few of the statistics. The ones where he doesn't, obviously passes attempted, passes completed and interceptions. But in terms of tackling, it's almost exactly the same. In terms of blocks, it's similar, but Endo is better. Clearances, aerials won, progressive carries, progressive passes is very, very similar. And, you know, the goals and the assists and all that type of stuff, he dwarves him. Now, he does play as a number 8 as well as a number 6, so I think that's also got to be taken into consideration. But on the basics of things there, he compares really favourably with Fabinho, admittedly, in the German league as opposed to in the English Premier League. And that was last season, in the last 365 days, essentially. So we move on to the next one. Where's he played? So last season, 22-23 on the left-hand side, as I'm looking at it. He played predominantly as a defensive midfielder, 24 games, 5 goals, 3 assists. In central midfield, 16, 1 and 2. Now, I look back through the course of the season and he seemed to start the season in DM, probably the first third of the season, if you're just going to break it down quite quickly. The middle third of the season, he went to centre midfield, and the final third of the season, he kind of went to defensive midfielder again. Over the course of his career, it's a completely different outlook. Centre-back is where he's appeared most with 239, defensive midfield 137, centre midfield 35 and 15 for right back, because I am hearing a lot of talk about him being a right back. 15 times as a right back over the course of a 300 odd game or 270 odd game career so far is a really, really small sample size, but the defender side of things is really, really interesting. So I think if Liverpool have a problem at right back, he can probably fit in there. More importantly and more pertinently maybe, if Liverpool have a problem at centre half, then he can fit in there, and we are talking a big problem at centre half. But most importantly, I think he's a defensive midfielder now, and that's the way Liverpool would look to probably bring him in, and looks to probably be what suits him the best anyway. I'm going to go on to some of the different metrics now. His passing in key areas. I'll come back to this on the left-hand side in a little bit. In terms of passes per 90, 39.94 is pretty low for a Liverpool player, but 39.94, when it looks like it's over the, let's see, if we sort of do that, this looks like sort of maybe the halfway point, so it looks like it's over 50% of the players there in the Bundesliga. And I think that's important. Now, he's having a lot of possession in a team that really struggled the last 2 seasons for Stuttgart. Now, Liverpool's midfielder, I would expect to be 50 to 60 to 70 passes, probably. His passing accuracy is probably a little bit low as well for a Liverpool midfielder, if I'm being honest with you. But his forward passes, about average for where we are. And his passes into the final third, actually probably above average. With averaging 5.47 per 90 into the final third. So I said I would take a closer look at this one, and this is key really. I don't know if you've ever seen these sort of data vises before, but when employed in these different types of positions, these are the types of passes that he does play. Now, the accuracy is obviously in the key here that you can see. Now, if he's let's say a right 8, which would be this one here, the longer the bar, the further he hits it. So he actually plays a lot of back passes, sort of this direction, but quite often on the wheel, it's in and around him. In terms of a right sort of DM, lots inside, obviously, lots outside, obviously, but generally speaking, more forwards than backwards. But in the sort of left side of DM, which I imagine if Trent's going to play that inverted role, this is the sort of pinwheel that we'll look for. Now, he plays a lot of longer balls from this left-hand side, seems to be more comfortable, and he seems to be more comfortable spraying them into this areas of the field over here, and nowhere near as many passes in these sort of backwards directions. So I thought that was quite interesting as well. Aerial duels, obviously as 5'10" player, you don't think of him as a guy that is going to win a lot of aerial duels, but I think when you look at how many he's completing, 4.59 aerial duels per 90, and he's winning 54% of them, which is again probably over the median for Bundesliga players last season. And over on the left hand side you can see the win losses, and over here he's winning 51% in the penalty area, 48% just outside the penalty area, on the right flank and the left flank down there, which I don't think is too pertinent, to be honest with you. He does seem to lose the ball quite often in defensive situations. Obviously, this is extrapolated data over the course of an entire season, but he is losing a lot, and it's this sort of area of the field that concerns me the most. These sort of little black circles here are where it's ended up with a shot. This one here is obviously where it's ended up with a goal. So that is a pause for concern. Maybe that could be down to the fact that his team wasn't very good. It could be down to the fact that he's being asked to play in a certain way. And if I go back to 2 screens ago and we look at this graphic again, he is looking to try and spring the team and transition the team, I think, as illustrated by that pinwheel there. So we can move on to ball progression. Lots of progressive passes per 90. It's looking at 6.41. Not as many progressive runs per 90, but if anybody's watching the highlight videos and all that type of stuff, you will see that he doesn't mind having a little dribble now and again. And we're going to go through a few more stats. Then I'm going to show you some tactical side of things. And again, what I've noticed so far in doing my research over the last sort of few hours and stuff is that a lot of people and a lot of the videos obviously do tend to focus on what he's doing with the ball, and I didn't want to look at what he's doing with the ball. You can go out there and you can find that sort of information yourself. I wanted to look specifically at defensive situations that I think maybe Liverpool can be weak in at times, so I've tried to pluck out these, and we'll tactically take a little look at them. But in terms of ball progression, the black lines, the black arrows are runs, and the white ones are passes. Obviously it's a lot more passes than it is runs. But he does tend to sort of stick in this area of the field. In fact, in terms of his actions in counter-attacks, which could be good for Liverpool, if we're playing a side who is dominating possession, Chelsea might have been one of those sides actually, just gone. You can see he's over the average in his XG chain in counter-attacks and stuff like that, so that's decent. In terms of recoveries, in our own third, lots of recoveries, 164, 75 counter-pressing recoveries, 60 interceptions. Doesn't like to go to ground very often. It stands to reason then that the player is a good positionally if they're not going to ground, I always think. You can think of Fabinho and his recovery pace and his ability to tackle over the last few years has always led to him looking great in the sliding tackle. And it's each their own there. He might be not quite as good positionally as someone like Endo. And what that could mean is we're just going to see less fouls, we're going to see less yellow cards, we're going to see less red cards, we're going to see less sliding tackles in general. But if you're positioning sound, that's not necessarily a bad thing. In terms of recoveries per 90, it's 9.99 and well over the sort of 50% mark. And in counter-pressing recoveries, it's actually quite near the top in terms of the Bundesliga. It was 5.59, and you know, the graphic is the graphic. It's all over the place because there's loads and loads and loads of recoveries, of course. Recoveries in the final third. I think the first thing on this graphic that I'm sort of looking at is there is a weight of actions in this area of the field here, and that for me, again, I'll just highlight it this time, is the area of the field when Liverpool were their absolute best that Fabinho would push up onto and not let a team out. You know, the defensive header might come out, and in that area of the field, that's where I want. You can see lots of these circles here. They're all counter-pressing recoveries. These are positional recoveries, which I think there are a lot of, and these are ones that ends in shots and goals. And I think in the final third, that's really good. You know, very, very strong 1.73 per 90. In the final third, and dangerous recoveries, very, very strong in that compared to the other players in the Bundesliga as well. So really, really good stuff there. Penalty area deliveries, not too much. I'm not really too interested in that. I don't really want him as a penalty area kind of a guy, but it is something that Fabinho has done at times through his Liverpool career, where you think of that little chip ball over the top and stuff like that. So yeah, really happy to see that he's got that in his game, but I'll be honest with you, I'd rather Trent Alexander-Arnold. I want a piano carrier and I want Trent to play it. So in terms of that, yes, he can do it. I very much doubt that he'll be asked to do it a lot. In terms of shots, he does like to get involved. He does get good goals and stuff like that as well over the course of his career. You might have noticed that on when he was playing centre-back, he had almost a 1 in 10 goal ratio, and that almost translated to when he played midfield as well. So that's decent. Has a lot of shots, I feel, out here, which Jurgen will not want him to do. For Liverpool, it's more about recycling the possession out here, or maybe working a little 1-2 or something into these sort of much better areas, because these are the dangerous areas, and the closer you get to the middle there, the more likely you are to score. The further away you get, the less likely you are to score. So as you can see here, in the less likely areas, he actually hasn't scored. Closer to the goal, he scored, and it's just perfectly illustrated by those blue goals there. So that's quite interesting. And then we move on then to the sort of tactical side of things for today. And I said I wanted to sort of show you what he can do in specific situations, and the reason for that is the videos that I've seen so far are very much turn, move, pass, yada yada yada, all the pretty stuff. I want to know, and this is what I went looking for, situations that I think sometimes Liverpool can be quite weak at. So for example, here's your man here. He's right there. The ball is coming in this direction to this centre half. We move it on to the next slide, like that, and you can see Endo just over there. The ball's going to get moved, shifted maybe, player coming to press, player probably coming to press, because that's the most likely thing. And therefore, thinking 2 steps ahead, this is the guy here that's going to end up with the ball in maybe 2 to 3 seconds time. So we move it on. Guy's got the ball there. The pressure's come in. The pressure's come in. And Endo is just about to start coming into screen now, as you can see as we move forwards. Here you go, ball still at feet, man's on the move, gonna go and try and get into that area. Doesn't need to worry too much about this area, because this striker is going to try and get onto this midfielder. So what he's got to do here is really make sure that it's difficult to play a ball into this area of the field for anybody who's coming in slightly later. So we move it on again. Man's just received it. He's controlling the ball now. He's taken a touch. He's turned. Right. Defender with striker. Endo coming into the ball. Just as we discussed, the midfielder, sorry, the striker has taken the midfielder. So it's down to a one-on-one situation. Doesn't really have too much to worry about here. This guy's casting the press and shadow over here. So this guy's completely irrelevant. Okay, there he is. He's got into that situation. He's got close to him. The ball's under control. And there's one pass really, and that one pass, the defender is obviously using the sideline of the field here as a defender, which is always good. He just needs to try and make sure that that pass is difficult. He needs to get closer to this man who's the ball player to make it a difficult pass. And that's exactly what he does. By the time he's taking it, he's throwing a little leg out. He's forcing him to chip the ball over him so it's not a ball on the floor. Makes it, if it does get to him, more difficult for him to control it. He's got pressure on his backside as well, and they end up winning the ball. This one's another one. At times, Liverpool's midfield, I think, can be sometimes slow to react to situations. This one was from a throw, and I think at times last season we did concede quite a lot from throws. Was it the Nottingham Forest game? I forget now where we really struggled. For example, now over here, I just want to highlight this player is him. This player is going to go to him. It's clear that the ball is going to go to that player, and here is our man Endo right here. So we move that on. Your man's come into press, and he's on the move. Now, the ball, quite clearly, I think at this point, is always going to go back there. Man there. So you've got a big, difficult pass over there, or this guy's coming free because of this pressure here. So, Endo spots that and moves straight forward. By the time the ball's come back over here, ball's getting played in, Endo's closing down his man. Good reading of the game. Saw it probably 2 to 3 passes before it even happened. And there you go. Just as he's trying to control it there, it's making it difficult. He's now harrying him closer to the sideline and continues that harry, and the ball goes out of play and they win the ball back. Stuttgart high up the field. So again, decent reading of the game there, to be honest with you. This is a really, really important one as far as I see it, and this is covering of the centre half. Now, as I see it, the ball is just in the air over here. So, Stuttgart have the ball. Stuttgart are playing in this direction, and in the next couple of slides, if I remember correctly, Stuttgart are going to lose the ball, and Endo's going to have to cover. So we've got a centre back, we've got a right back, and we've got a left back. Okay, so there's your defensive line. You've got your 2 midfielders there. You got your 3. You got your 1. 4-2-3-1. Nice and simple. So ball's in the air. It's controlled. First time pass, poor decision. This player's going to come and get the ball. Centre half has now been dragged, maybe 30, 40 yards away from his partner. Not a good situation for any centre half to be in at all. Endo in the middle needs to do something about it. How are you going to do this when you're left back? And remember, I said I was trying to pick sort of plays that you might see as a Liverpool fan. When your left back has gone down the field and not got the ball, how does he react to that situation? So Endo's right in the middle there, and there, right. Centre back. He's retreating. He knows from the last slide, and I'll happily go back, he knows he's not in a good situation where he doesn't want to be getting there because there's all this type of space for a player to run into. So we move it forwards. He's now starting to retreat. Endo's got himself from this position inside here, and he's taken this man up here. Left back still kind of out of play. Man's running down the wing next. Now, unfortunately, the Bundesliga guys decided to do a close-up on the next shot, if I remember correctly. But we just know that Endo's going to be running in with his man here. And that's exactly what happens. And he chases his man all the way down to the edge of the penalty area. You can just see that there. And the centre-half hasn't had to engage the forward player, which is obviously good play by Endo to make sure, because sometimes a defensive midfielder would quite easily like to come inside, and if I just sort of go back, clear those off, it could be that he decides to go in there and he decides to go in there, but he's taken control of the situation. He's got himself from inside to out and made it so that the centre half is able to get on the inside, where he is obviously a much better defender. So we'll roll that back on. And as you can see, he gets goal side. The centre half manages to keep himself in line. It's a poor pass because of his pressure and because of the way that he's covered and because he took the decision to make sure that I'm going to get into that left back position because my left back hasn't made it, and I don't want my defender defending one-on-one out here, and I don't want to be in this position where the centre half is. Stuttgart win the ball. That, I think, is a perfect example of what Liverpool could see out of Endo in a red shirt. I wanted to show you his positional awareness as well. This is slightly different. This is for Japan this time. So they're gonna have the ball here, as you can see, right in the centre of your screen. And as we move it on, ball's played out, it's intercepted, and then what happens, they're going to start a little bit of a counter-attack and a transition, and we've all seen that as Liverpool fans far too much over the last sort of 6 to 9 to 12 months, I suppose. So as we come in here, Endo comes into shot. He's got a guy that he's probably going to have to keep an eye on, and he's got a guy that he's running into space down here. So you've got a question, what are you going to do? You've got to commit. This guy doesn't look like he's going to get back into this one, so he commits to this run over here to try and make it difficult for the player on the ball. And what I think you can see is now this guy has managed to cast a pressing shadow to make it difficult to play into this fella here. Endo's coming across and just, again, I said I wanted to showcase positional awareness. The right back, he's going into the right back space. We've seen that before. And then over there, he tries to hold him up a little bit, gets his body still on the turn such that he can run that way if he needs to. He can move that way. He's not committed to anything at this point. Great body positioning. But the right back is starting to get back into play now, and the midfielder is coming back into play. So they've got good numbers. Would be an incredible little pass if he was able to do that. This is brilliant though, because next I think you could quite easily go, bang, I'm going to try and win the football. If you win the football, if you go for that ball there and you miss it, this guy has got all this space, and all of a sudden these two guys are still behind play. So gets his body in the right position, tries to slow him down. Slows him down enough that the right back manages to get back in and start to make it difficult. Still there, still causing an issue, still blocking off passing lanes, but hasn't committed so that the guy can run into this space. Then, now you've beat me man again, now I have to commit. And now this guy is going to try and get back into that space. So again, this is two players who've probably played together quite often, who understand exactly what they need to do. But Endo was the one, by not engaging, that allowed the right back to get into that position. And then once he's missed it, he engages. And engage, you've got to win the ball. And what does he do? He gets his body across the man and wins a free kick. Dead simple. Great recovery work, great positional awareness, great understanding of where your players are and where the opposition players are, and most importantly, great to win the ball back for your football team. Another one that I wanted to see here was defending in transition, and this is again something that I think Liverpool have had major issues with over the last 12 months. So you can see this guy here just about to go and win the football, and there is going to be a counter-attack against Japan. And as you can see here, I think this is Endo right now. This guy's going to go. Endo's got a decision to make. He can see with his eyes, this guy's making a big old run. That looks ridiculous. This guy's making a big old run, and I might have to go because he's going there. I might have to go and leave my man. What am I going to do in this situation? The run's continued. Endo's left his man, but he's casting that press and shadow such that that's a really difficult one. He's pressed, he's missed it, he's got a guy there. What are you going to do? He runs in, you can see he's on the stretch. That's an opportunity not to just hang up and slow down and wait for other players to come and help you. You're on the stretch. The likelihood is at this point, it's going to be very difficult for you to control it. He can see that from his body position. I'm going to have to go in and I'm going to have to win that football. And he does. Gets in there. The touch is slightly away from him. He's on full pelt. He was just stretching the ball for the ball, slightly off balance. Now having to try and speed up again. Endo's at full pelt. Big shoulder. See you later. Ta-ra. Walk away with the ball. Left the man on the floor. That's what we call Tom Dutton defending in this house. And that's what he did. Walks away with the ball. Recovers it. Transition over. Japan on the ball again, superb. And I think this is the last one this time, and it's springing the counter-attack for them. So we've got the two centre-halves here, I think, this time for Stuttgart. You've got the right back over here, you've got the left back over here, and here, my friends, is Endo. So they've got the ball. It's about to go into this guy here. What are we going to see? Endo's in good space. He's maybe you'd like him to be a little bit more here. But the left back's in a decent position. Doesn't look like he's got anyone to worry about apart from this guy over here. So we move it on. At this point, you've got two passes over here because it's a little one in. You're blocking a pass over there. Endo's on the press. This guy wants to cast the pressing shadow when both guys go past him. Turns. He's in a decent position, making it difficult for him. Centre-half's got that run if necessary from this guy. He's got this guy. Endo's going to go to the ball because he can see all of this. And as he goes for the ball, he forces him to turn around. The counter-attack's kind of over at this point. You might be able to recycle possession to over here and then maybe over here. But Endo doesn't give him any time to breathe. He presses relentlessly and goes and plays what I can only describe as a Bobby Firmino type challenge or an Adam Lallana type challenge, where you do that little jump from behind when you're second best for it. Wins the ball. Get yourself into a transition yourself. You're now on the counter-attack. You've now got four, and he's busting a gut, by the way, against two of the defenders. So all that to tell you, it ain't silky, it ain't classy, it ain't a YouTube highlight video, but from what I went looking for I think he can do everything in a defensive sense in that league, in the Germany league, that Liverpool are looking for. Is it the marquee summer signing that Liverpool want? Absolutely not. Would I be disappointed if Liverpool just signed Endo? Absolutely. But can this man do a job at Liverpool Football Club at the age at which he is now? Absolutely. I have no doubts about that. This is not an Arthur Melo type signing. This is a guy who's going to bust the gut. This is a guy who's going to try and win the ball back for the team. And this is a guy, I think, that has no airs and graces and handing the ball off to the better players and the attacking players. This is a guy that could solidify us for a year or two at a very, very cheap transfer fee at £15.4 million. It's not one to write home about. We're not going to sing songs about Enzo in 15 to 20 years' time, unless he becomes a cult hero, of course. But it's not, I don't think, the disaster that a lot of people are saying. Anyway, if you've enjoyed the video, we do deep dives, normally me and Josh Williams, every single week on redmenplus.com. If you want to support the channel, then please go over there. We've already done a deep dive on redmenplus.com this week. The clip was out on YouTube. This is an extra one. This goes out for free on YouTube. But if you do want to support us and you like the cut of our jib and you like what we do, then please, redmenplus.com is the place to do it. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and I'll see you next time. Ta-ra.
Thank you so much for watching. The new season is here. Come and join us over on redmenplus.com for fantastic shows, pre and post-match content, journalistic insights into all Liverpool's transfer business, documentaries, interviews, features and more. Head to redmenplus.com, sign up today and fill your boots with Boss Liverpool content.